Thank you, Unagizella. I'm assuming you cheered for the statement, like I'm just going to draw what I want to draw, but maybe not. And I got to get up at like 5 something, so I'm just going to get this done and call it a night. And female figures, they do take less time. I mean, they go faster because they don't have as much rendering and all that kind of stuff. See it in the broadcasting window. It is smaller, and so it gives me a new perspective on. Let me just draw through here so I have everything in the right place. Just go sign up. It supplements this channel. You won't regret it. It's I check in many times a day actually, just for the conversation and the debates over whether you should slab books or not. People buying expensive pieces of art and then asking after, "Hey, did you draw this?" Sorry, I shouldn't laugh. I'm like, the pressure is intense. Yes, I did draw it. I don't want you to feel bad. No, I always tell the truth. Sorry. I'm like looking ahead at him. It's a very simple character, much like Snoopy. It requires a bit of practice to get just the proportions down. It's going to be Poison Ivy with wet hair. I think, I know there'll be at least 2 people that are interested in this. I'm tired. Getting closer. It's funny, with faces, I just like to get a hint of what it's going to look like. I don't even have to take it to full completion and stuff. Once I get it to a vibe where I feel like I get some personality out of it, that's kind of when I decide, like, yeah, that's the right pose. And so far, that's looking pretty good. I thought it was going to be wet hair. Sorry. Arm across the waist or arm out. Like she's holding a lotus. Why should be holding a lotus? I have no idea. That's the first thing that just came to my mind. Long. It's a head of lettuce. I don't know if I can work with this wet hair thing. I think the reason I'm doing this is my plan was to actually do a large poison ivy the same way I did the large Wolverine and live stream it and then give it away, but I just ran out of time. I had to do all those other pieces. Anyway, I hope they do another Lake Como comic. I think people will see the inherent value in going to a show like this. And lovely city. Although I always kind of wonder, I don't know if many Americans or travelers know about Lake Como other than George Clooney has a place here. And so they might not necessarily go like, oh, that sounds like a great place to go to a convention and have vacation. You know, what would be the value if it were in a place that was more well known? Like, oh, it's in Rome. That's great. I'll go to the Comet and then I'll travel around. But maybe not. Maybe people know. I was just trying to think it through and see if there was ways for them to kind of improve upon the experience. Be curious if any of you guys were considering going and then decided not to for whatever reason, because that would be useful information to kind of pass down to them. Sorry, going off paper. Thank you for your responses. love kind of doing this kind of hair. It's a lot of fun to draw. It's all about making kind of patterns and volume. I'm not sure exactly the rhyme or reason behind it, other than lean into the contrast, lean into the swirls, lean into kind of blocks of hair going from thin to thick. As those that didn't go, would you consider going next year based on what you guys have seen and heard about the show, or do you think it's still price dependent for you? Meaning, would you have gone if you had known what it was about this year and it was just wasn't properly conveyed to you early enough or clearly enough? You should share that with them either on on Twitter, because they have an account, or on their Insta. At some point tomorrow morning, I will post up a thank you to them. If you want to also comment there, I can point them in that direction. They can kind of see what you guys think. I mean, if you guys really legitimately feel like, oh, I heard awesome things about it, I wish I'd gone, I didn't know that you had all these guests, that you were going to give out prints, da-da-da-da-da. I think it would be useful for them to know so they could start marketing and promoting it earlier next year if they have another one. And from what I hear, I think there is going to be another one, but I don't know. I have not talked to the organizer just yet, other than a text to say I'm leaving the convention. Thank you very much. I'll see you when I see you. That's nice. I'm heading to the beach. I'm heading to my yacht. What's the main expense? The airfare from Australia? What if they gave everyone 2 sets of prints? So if you attended, you got a set that was pre-signed, or maybe you go ahead and get it signed. I mean, that's one of the funner things to do, is actually meet the artist in person. So you get 1 set to keep and 1 to sell. I guess that would kind of flood the market for those things. Right, so I don't. All right. I would just end up keeping it all. But if you had 2 sets of the same one, okay. Let's check that out. Excuse me. Fran Drescher. Yeah, that's a reference a lot of people will get. That's the first thing I think of when I hear stuff like that now. It's like, do people know who that is anymore? It's getting to the point now where it's less and less likely that anyone I know, people know. It's interesting that Superhero Swimmer kind of listed every sketch I've done since I started streaming, and he came out to like 69. There were a couple duplicates, but yeah, you get the idea of it. It was actually a lot more than I thought. But I mean, that is the one benefit of streaming with regularity is it does, it puts you on that schedule. And with all things, if you do something kind of habitually and consistently, before you know, you've actually done quite a bit of work. I think my figures are more than 8 heads high. I used to count, but now I don't. I just kind of draw what looks right. But what looks right, I know from having seen like older sketches, it's just the way it looks right to me now. Meaning there's other stuff I've seen from my past. I go like, ooh, why are the thighs so long? You know, why are the hips so wide from the early 90s? The image days, like, why are the hips so long? Why are the head so small? It's weird. It looked right at the time. It's just like fashion, I think. If you look at back on pictures of what you wore in the 80s, 90s, the aughts, you go like, whoa, that looks horrible. It looked good at the time. Hairstyles, clothing, all that stuff. It's just Kleenex. Trying to create some movement with the smears. Hmm?
Can I get this?
Yeah, get for it. Go for it. I did meet Olivier Coipel. Yeah. I should probably ask him, like, do you even care? And they would be like, no. Solid Snake, that's going to be, you are eligible. But even when I do those, sometimes I do kind of like goofy, kind of, what's the word on the way, and those are always open to everybody. But this piece, auction, and I'll just go review it very quickly. But basically, there's something called a whisper. It's in different parts of your interface depending on whether you're on a desktop or mobile. But basically, you can send a message to me what anyone else is bidding. So just bid, please, an amount that you're comfortable bidding and winning. I found that working this way kind of prevents people from kind of going crazy, which is in a bidding process if it's like a traditional open auction, because they get caught up in sort of the excitement of it all. And so as soon as I'm done with this, I basically then scroll through my whispers and find the high whisper, and I announce the amount so that you guys know for just posterity's sake. But I don't, unless I don't announce who bid the most unless the person wants me to, I guess. But no one has so far, or maybe they don't care, but I don't bring it up. And so it's kind of a mix of random chance to win, or people want to buy pieces of art and not have to wait on Lady Luck for that to happen. That's why the silent auction was introduced several months ago, I want to say, or a couple months ago. So now I'm just, someone said you built up gray value. Absolutely built up gray values, and now I'm going in and building up another gray value. So we have a darker gray value right here. Or you can put it in now. I'll probably put some with whiteout, kind of like, I'm thinking about adding kind of leaf elements, vine elements, I guess. But right now I'm just kind of focused on getting the body just right. Right here. I know I kind of rendered it, but I think it'll look better and kind of stand out more from what I've done here. Now I can actually go in and make some of this even darker. The idea is that the hair kind of just turns into a one large kind of shadow as it kind of runs down. Kind of just disappears into the shadow, but I'm going to pull that back out. Now I'm thinking, I don't know if I need the vines. Ivy needs to wipe better. Nice. Nice thoughts. Protocol, but this is where I think Kate, who has had a long day of traveling, Ren, who has been working a lot, and Crispy, who got a great night's sleep and still made it to the stream. I have to appreciate that. So thank you, Kate, and Ren, and Crispy. Thanks to regulars. Hell, I gotta start covering that. Fix, add to. I love how the pencil actually adds volume and texture to it. So on something like this, I like kind of going in and adding that. And then I'll go in obviously with white out and add more highlights. HB lead. Or maybe you can, I don't know. I would gladly come back to Hawaii. It's one of my favorite places. I want to do something that felt a little more lyrical, kind of moody, atmospheric, less superhero-y. It's almost like her hair's turning into the leaves that make up the vine. All right. Make these white lines a little more subtle. Shadows on face. Okay, well, I'm back next week. I'll probably do a draw along at some point. Kind of overdue. I kind of want to reinforce that shoulder. Thank you again, Kate Renee. Ren Elephant. Ren Elephant. And Crispy. Sorry, it's late. And I will see you shortly. You can see it as clearly as possible.
In a crude laboratory in the basement of his home,